Okay, what's up YouTubers? This is Herm Says Play to Win, and I've got another War Thunder Ground Forces Simulator Battle replay. This time in the T-34-85 with the D-5T gun. So this is a rank 3 Soviet medium. And we're on the Ash River map. And this is a small 4-on-4 matchup. So this gun has decent mobility, or I should say this tank has decent mobility. It's got good turret armor. The hull armor is okay, it's not great for this rank. The gun is pretty good as long as you're trying to kill things within about 1,000 meters. Past 1,000 meters, the penetration values are kind of low, and so on the bigger maps, so specifically on Kursk, where there's a lot of long-range shooting, you might find that this particular gun has problems killing some of the more heavily armored German tanks at distance. And so two other friendly mediums are up here in this position, which is kind of overkill. And so at this point I was wondering to myself if I should relocate somewhere. So just backing up to see how the situation unfolds here. I suspected that there would be enemies on the southern cliff, and sure enough there's a shot from that area. 2 shots. And so those are probably shots from enemy players. So peeking up, trying to get visual contact with the enemy. And I decide that particular location where I was peeking wasn't going to work because of the limited gun depression in this tank. And again, you can see the limited gun depression here. And so I need to push out pretty far in order to bring the gun down. So this enemy TD was sitting right there, and I put a good shot into him to knock out his gunner and driver. However, he's still alive. And I really need to be careful now, because he has a sense of where I am now. I'm trying to see him through the artillery view, but no dice. And so, it looks like at least 2 of the enemy team were on the cliff to the south. And so I see more enemy gunfire here. And again, because of the bad gun depression, I need to push way, way forward in order to bring the gun to bear on this Panzer III. So this Panzer III appears to be preoccupied with my teammates, and so I put 1 shot into him and take him out. There's an enemy Tiger there, so you need to be careful. Again, struggling with the gun depression here. And the Tiger takes out the other T-34-85. So I drop artillery on the Tiger to try to rattle him a little bit, try to confuse him as to where I am. Now on the mini-map I can see that TD on the cliff to the south there, and so there he is. Now fortunately for me, he wasn't a very good shot. Now here again, seeing the problems of the limited gun depression for the T-34. I need to push way forward and expose the entire tank in order to bring the gun down far enough to shoot that guy. So decide to tell my team where the enemy Tiger is, roughly, so they can watch out for him. I decide to relocate. Try to find a spot that is more T-34 friendly. To sight that enemy TD on the cliff there, but no joy. Meanwhile, trying to figure out where this enemy Tiger is. And popping artillery view, I see him. He's right ahead of me, down in the dry riverbed area, so he is engaging a friendly, apparently on the cliff, and again struggling with the gun depression, so I need to push way, way out into the open to shoot this Tiger.
The gun crew is ready.
First shot sets him on fire in the engine compartment. So he pulls forward into cover. Unfortunately, he doesn't get far enough forward, and so I put a second shot into him, set him on fire again, and he blows up. So that's 2 kills so far. Now, no sign of the enemy TDs on the cliff to the south, but I was thinking they must still be up there. So I decide to head south to try to deal with them. So I'm going to circle around our own southern spawn. That way I don't end up taking the most obvious route towards the enemy. With the T-34s, you really want to take advantage of the mobility to move around the battlefield and try to show up in places where the enemy doesn't necessarily expect you to be. In this game, the element of surprise is often decisive, to be honest. If you can get the drop at the enemy and hit him either in the side or in the rear, that can often one-shot them. So this is kind of what I'm trying to go for here. I'm circling around towards the south. To try to get up to that cliff area. So I'm expecting enemy contact at any moment. No contacts yet. Here, pushing around this hill, I notice there's an enemy TD at H4, and I couldn't be sure if that TD was an enemy player or not. Pushing forward again, so spot the enemy TD again. At this point, not sure what to do, so I Tell my team about the TD at H4. So from this angle I can't even see it, so I decide, okay, time to push forward. Now one of my teammates takes one of the enemy TDs down. KV-2 takes the Panzer IIIM out for the second time. So the enemy team are down to 2 players at this point. We have 3. So pushing forward, I've sighted this TD again, so yeah, this TD is actually an AI. So I decide to roll forward to engage. Now, what I need to watch out for are enemy players camping out on that hilly area to the left. But I don't see any contacts on the minimap, and so I quickly take out this AI. So our KV-2 got sniped by a Jagdpanzer IV. So at this point I was thinking the Jagdpanzer IV is probably somewhere in the middle of the map because the KV-2 was sitting in F7, I believe. And so I spot more enemy tanks. Pretty sure these were AIs at this point. So backed up to reassess the situation, and judging from the behavior of this Panzer IV, this must have been an AI. So take a shot, and sure enough, it's an AI. So I was thinking this AI was going to return fire, but he never did. So put in another hit. And yeah, I do finish this guy off. Now there's another AI up in J4. I'm trying to spot him. And zooming in, looking for him. Yeah, I don't see him, and it's really not important. At this point, I saw an enemy TD flash on the minimap at F8, and I realized that they must be going for our cap. So forgetting that AI medium on the ledge up there, I book it back towards our base. Meanwhile, the friendly T-34, he is in C3, and he is pushing towards the enemy base. So the enemy is camping our base. We need to get back there and go kill them. So this just goes to show the mobility of the T-34, which is really quite nice. I mean, if I had been in something like a KV-1 or another heavy, I might not have been able to get back here in time to deal with the cap situation. Okay, trying to see where these guys are. And I dropped artillery short right there. So that was a tactical mistake. And then another mistake that I made right here was I ran right into this rock. And so that is a serious, serious derp moment. Now, if the enemy TDs had actually come out and taken me on, they probably could have killed me at this point because I was just stuck here. Okay, so I can see where they are, and their guns are actually pointed in the wrong direction. They have not spotted me, apparently. And so I decide to push forward and maybe kill one of them real quick. And again, victimized by the bad gun depression here. Do get a shot that hits both of them. So they back up. And looks like one of them shot blindly. And I put a shot into the dirt here. So I'm being very careful not to push too far out, because if they hit me in the hull, that could easily one-shot me. On the other hand, though, I have to kill these guys, because if I don't, they will win the game by capping. And so I'm trying to bring the gun down, get a damaging hit, but still alive. So being very careful pushing forward here. My auxiliary is almost up again. At this point, I need to drop artillery to rattle them, to make them move so their gun isn't pointed right at me. And trying to see if they move, and actually get a splash hit on them, and there they go, they start moving, and trying to kill this guy. So I killed one of them. The other guy is still alive though, and so I take a hit. But my artillery manages to take out the other TD. Now I make a second big derp move here, driving off that hill. And it's a lucky thing in this game that you cannot wreck your tank by driving it off of a hill like that. Instead, I only took off the tracks of the tank, and so need to sit here to repair. But yeah, so those were two big derpy moments towards the end of this game. The lucky thing was that I was not punished for them, so I managed to repair in time in order to reset the cap here. Meanwhile, the surviving enemy TD has destroyed my T-34 teammate, who was capturing their zone. And so I'm resetting our zone. The enemy TD is resetting their zone. At this point, it's down to a one-on-one situation. I still have both my spawns, whereas the enemy TD is down to his last spawn. So, at this point, I simply need to take out the enemy TD, and then I win the game. So, one of the things about this game is it rewards tactical thinking. And so, I know the enemy TD is sitting at their cap right now, and so I decide to check the stats of my opponent just to see how experienced he is. And he has 6 victories out of 15 simulator battles. And so that gave me a hint about what to do next. So I know he's sitting in his own cap, and so he can basically do a couple of things. One is he can come after me, or he can get up onto a sniping camping position in the high ground and wait for me to come to him. So what I need to do is to press the attack, but at the same time, I don't want to take unnecessary risks because there's still about 6 minutes left in this match. So there's plenty of time to find this guy and to take him out. Just need to be methodical and tactical about it. And so, yeah. So our cap has been neutralized. I didn't sit in there the whole time to bring it back up all the way blue because that's really unnecessary at this point. So I decided to push forward, and I was thinking to myself, okay, well, what is the most likely avenue of approach for an inexperienced player like this? And I thought, well, probably he is going to take the shortest route. And so I decide to sit here behind this big rock formation in the middle of the map. And sure enough, I spot the enemy on the mini-map in F2, right near their cap. So it looks like he's starting to push out, and yeah, I spot him with the artillery view, and I see him coming, and one shot, he's dead. And that's it. That's their last vehicle. And so I say GG, and pick up another win in the T-34-85 on Ash River. And so, yeah, this was a long tactical battle, and so in the end I was able to carry the day. I did most of the heavy lifting for our team, so yeah, I was really glad about this result, and played a tactically sound game except for the 2 derp moments. So, yep. So for those who've hung around to the end here, thank you very much for watching this replay. As you can see, a whole bunch of awards there, and yeah, it's really nice. And so finished first on my team, 5 player kills. The enemy TDs actually played pretty well. Yeah, so good game to them as well.